From the minute I got diagnosed, I knew that should I survive, I would want to give back in some way. I have always known that.
My whole life, I've always believed in you help others and you give more than you get. And a mission trip to help others with Above and Beyond Cancer was just the icing on the cake.
For the first time ever, we decided, let's, instead of making this a physical journey, let's try and do a mission trip.
Our medical mission trip became a journey of providing support, relief, and comfort to those in need in Nepal.
To hop on a plane and travel across the world where I know nothing about the people or the culture was way outside of my comfort zone.
Sometimes you get going through life and you're trudging along and you don't take notice of the beautiful things in life. And I think getting out of your comfort zone, it makes you feel more alive.
As strangers come together with a common bond of cancer, whether they're a cancer survivor or they're there in honor of a daughter or a father that had died of cancer, or they're a caregiver, they learn through the journeys how much strength, confidence, resilience, and compassion they have.
Cancer is all over the world, and it's difficult to recognize that when we're in our own little houses, in our own little towns.
And in many ways, it's our commonality, including the commonality of cancer, that brings us together and makes us realize that no matter what part of the world we live in, we are more alike than we are different. The difficult thing was to see individuals who have what would be potentially curable cancer in the United States, where that form of treatment that could cure that cancer is not available.
My cancer, by the time I found it, although I found it early, had already spread to my lymph nodes. And I'm fearful that if I lived in Nepal, that it would have been too late. They wouldn't have had the medications. It would have spread too far. I wouldn't be alive today.
I can't even imagine being a patient there, and it has to be a lot harder, and I can see why the survival rate isn't near as high.
When I heard the story of Nepal versus cancer, and that it's basically a death sentence, and that we could get a chance to give them hope, to teach them that these are cancer survivors and you can be too, that was very fulfilling.
I'll never forget watching Rhonda Spain talking to a cancer patient, and to connect with that cancer patient in a way that was nonverbal. It really showed me that, this goes beyond words.
It was the daughter sitting beside the mom, where in my case, I sat at the bedside of our daughter. And the whole scene just drew me in. I just had to go to them.
There was one little boy who had a tumor over his eye, and it was very disfiguring. And I kind of had this little bond because I grew up with a disfigurement. I pulled up my sleeve of my shirt, and I was showing the father the tumors that I have on my arms, and I was showing the scar where I had my cancer. And I pointed and I said, "But cancer no more."
What we did, our 10 cancer survivors, the 12 caregivers, was to provide compassionate, humanitarian expressions of hope and inspiration. At the Bhaktapur Cancer Hospital, we had the opportunity to meet Depesh. Depesh had a cancer of the femur. So the surgery that Dr. Singh did was a rotationplasty. So he removed the lower half of the femur, the knee, and the upper part of the tibia and the fibula. But his foot now is pointing backwards, and the heel is now the new knee. And the idea is that you can then make a prosthetic that fits over the foot and becomes the lower leg, so that his ambulation, his walking and running and jumping can be much more normal.
Having boys myself, he's a typical little boy. He just wants to play and joke around and mess with me more than I'm messing with him. And so that was really fun to see him smile.
They taught me so much more about survivorship. Not only did they have horrible conditions in which they're dealing with their cancer, but they still had smiles on their faces.
The more time you spend with Nepali people, the more you understand how sacred their culture is.
I think we can learn a lot from their culture if we're open to it.
Whenever you see somebody with a tika, that tells you that they've been to a temple and they have been blessed.
We're in a sacred space to think about our lives, think about others, and embrace humanity.
There is nothing that compares to the power of the experience.
So when they say namaste, you truly believe that they are sharing the light.
They have this wisdom of light and dark, and I think it makes complete sense that a lot of the ceremonies invite light into your life, because we all have those dark days.
Not only did you have this beautiful ceremony thanking the gods for the day, but right across from you is people putting their loved one to rest. So it's a life coming to an end and a day coming to an end. And I just feel like there's not words to describe it.
I still remember the smells, the sights, I mean, the river. It was an incredible experience that I'm never gonna forget.
It showed me a culture where death is not necessarily the end.
There will be 600,000 individuals this year alone that will die of cancer, and their lives will continue to inspire us to do better. Since our very, very first journey to Nepal in 2011, prayer flags have been the heart and soul of what we do.
I had my dad's flag and my friends' flags, and they're all together, and I just felt like they were this little community that I'm taking to Nepal halfway around the world.
It's powerful to think about every person that is represented on those flags.
I was fortunate enough that I got to bring prayer flags made by several children who lost their parents to cancer this year. So just our way of being able to honor them.
We're celebrating being here together in this beautiful setting. We're celebrating having successfully completed a cancer journey, and we're celebrating life.
I believe that I was given this diagnosis, and my job now is to continue to help others, not only as a nurse, but in any way I can.
The amazing thing about Holly is that, if she had never told me that she had cancer, I wouldn't know. She's been the most important person in my life, and I owe her so much. And I'm just grateful that she's in my life, and that has nothing to do with cancer, but I owe her a lot.
You really do focus on what you have, and you're grateful for every day you have.
It was just very emotionally empowering, and made me, I don't know, feel a way that I hadn't felt in years.
I just think it was so much bigger than a small prayer flag ceremony on a small mountain with a few prayer flags. You know, it was just so much bigger than that.
The prayer flag ceremony was just a beautiful day to overlook the valley and have prayer flags flying in the wind.
We knew we wanted to interact with cancer patients and their families. We also knew we wanted to interact with the cancer survivorship community and the Nepal Cancer Relief Society. But we also really wanted to get our hands dirty. We wanted to build something and make something. So we came up with this plan that we would build a beautiful healing garden right there on the grounds of the hospital.
How wonderful is that, to dig into the earth and plant things and know that they'll be there for the people that come to the hospital every day.
We're trying to think of something really nice to do for the hospital that would kind of have a lasting mark and a way of acknowledging that special relationship between Above and Beyond and the people of Nepal and the hospital.
Put all the plants and the tall ones in the back, and all the zinnias and stuff go next. And then we're gonna put the ground cover in the front, and then we're gonna step back and look at it and rearrange it till we like it.
We weren't sure initially how we were going to do it because all we saw was the big pile of plants we were to plant. But we all pitched in and it was amazing.
The garden is worthy of celebration, but it's also a metaphor for the compassion and the beauty that we brought into some people's lives.
It wasn't just a group of people who were there to do a small mission. It was a group of people who were there that had a very large impact on the hospital, on the patients in the hospital, and on themselves.
I definitely felt like we had been a light into their lives, a light of hope.
I was able to use my own cancer journey and the opportunities that have been given to me to come and help other people. And that's something that I've never really been able to do.
I think about Nepal when I see the sunrise, and it was an unknown dream. And so every day I'm thinking about this experience that was so humbling and bringing that home. And it really feel like it's made me a better person.
There's some part of me that always knows that I could have died when I was 10. And so that all these last 11 years and however long I live is a gift. In some aspects, I'm grateful that I had cancer as a child. It allowed me to mature and grow at a very young age and realize a lot about life that I don't think I would have realized until later on. I think having cancer as a child definitely affected my development, but it also affected my outlook on life as it's fragile, so go out there and seize it.
I get inspired by some of the things that some of the other people have done. And I think that just makes me realize I need to just push myself a little harder.
What Above and Beyond does is helps people make those decisions about how they want to live their life and what survivorship means to them.
I can't imagine a mission and a way of being in the world that more aligns with the way I want to live my life.
How can I make somebody else's journey better? You know, how can I live my life now so that I'm an example to others, so that their journey can be as beautiful as my journey turned out to be?
That's what makes Above and Beyond Cancer powerful and enduring and worthy of its existence. If it only changed the lives of the few people that actually physically were present, it might not be worthy of enduring. but it's the ripple effect as you have dreams realized, and then you go out into the world and give birth to dreams for others. That's the power.